Alright, this is the second video. I told you I'd follow up with another video. And here it is. This video is gonna be the one where I really go into the weed of things. And I wanna break down the elements that make up this job. You know, because I could talk all day about the job. I talk for hours, maybe days, just straight. But I want to break it down in an easy, simplistic way for people to understand. And I'm going to do that with this chart that I made. It is the basic operating model of how this administrative rating works and functions. So, if you could do me a favor, I'm going to have this in the video. I would like you to just pause the video and screenshot it, or if you want to, like, you know, be studious, print it out and follow along, and you can write on it if you want. Now, let's do this. What you see right here is the general overview that I've developed after 9 years. I want to give you guys my knowledge so that you can start off where I didn't and become the super administrator. Or if that's what you want to call it, give yourself a nickname. I don't know. Alright, let's begin. So, the first section I'm going to start off with would be human resources all the way at the top. Now, as you can see, there's different colors. There's the black and then there's the white. The black is the primary duty that, you know, everything falls under, and then the white is everything that fall under the black in terms of like a scope that you get tasked with and things people depend on you to do, but not necessarily has to fully do with your job. And then the red would be these lines that I put out to describe really the weeds of the things people don't think about that they're doing in the rating that they will end up doing. So I just wanted to add that for, you know, give you the whole picture, paint the whole picture of everything. So I got it on there. Cool. Now, where did I leave off at? HR. But wait, what's above HR? It's the definition. I'm sure you want me to start the video off with the definition. So we're gonna read it. Yeoman Submarines. Definition. An administrative rating that does not have the time or resources to complete over 2,000 to 3,000 admin tasks a year. And I put that out there not to scare you, but to bring reality to the situation of what you do. You will go underwater. When you are underwater, there is no internet, meaning there are no resources for you to do most of the admin that you would need to get done. Also, the time. Once again, on a submarine, it gets really busy. And number one, you're a submariner before you're a yeoman. So that means you need to make the constant planning of your time to fully integrate your rating and your being of a submariner into one, yin and yang, to have this thing function. Because that's just the way it goes. Perfect. So, let me get back to what I was saying. First block, human resources. So, in the civilian world, I've talked and networked with a lot of people. I was a member of the Chamber of Commerce for a long time. And we've always talked about our jobs, went back and forth. And realistically, this is an HR job that is somewhat like a buffet of different elements. When I say that, I mean that it's not fully HR. It's military HR, which by definition doesn't have a definition because there's a lot more requirements when it comes to facilitating what an HR rep does in the civilian world than in the military, because, you know, companies have corporate laws, they have tax they need to follow, they have, you know, OSHA, these big regulatory agents that govern them, whereas the Navy doesn't really have that system for itself that governs you. You won't get audited like very much for HR, because HR is a big umbrella of different programs in the Navy that kind of clash together to make up HR. Like, I could explain it, but it probably wouldn't make sense to you unless you're in the military or specifically if you're in the Navy. So I'm just going to describe basically what HR really is for submarine yeoman. It is essentially communicating with the families and making sure that the pay is correct for the service member, making sure that you're taking care of the upper chain of command and communicating what you need to get across to the crew from a supervisory level, because you're always providing, you know, different types of resources, such as like how to update your life insurance and, you know, transferring your GI Bill. Trying to make sure that you have the right tools to get certain things done, such as the tax compliance for military members and how the Service Relief Act works, and getting forms to people so that they can talk to their local town reps for certain things that they're charged but they shouldn't be because they're in the military. And that's basically what it is. Perfect. We'll just end it with there, because you'll find out when you get on board, trust me. All right, the next thing I'm gonna go to is admin. Admin. Oh man. Whew. I'm telling you, 40 words a minute in your A school is what you'll have to type. You'll be typing a lot more than 40 words a minute, depending on what command you go to. I'm telling you, because when you have all these admin tasks that come at you, such as, okay, we need to get this letter drafted and it's a 12-page letter and I need it to be spell checked, I need all the format markers to be correct, and I need it to be in Times New Roman, and I need you to add these different serial numbers. Well, serial number, it's only plural, it's not plural. Yeah. There's a lot of different types of admin tasks that you will do. There's different types of admin, I guess you can say, documents that are called specifically notices, instructions, memorandums, and a lot of those different admin items go over government or command policy. So you have to think that you're drafting policy. That is the majority of the admin that you will do, if that makes sense. All right, perfect. Let's move on to the next one. The next one will be legal. You will be a legal clerk. A legal clerk is not necessarily a lawyer in the Navy, but they're a person who handles legal documents for the command. If anyone were to get into trouble, you'd facilitate what's called an NJP, aka Captain's Mass, and you would be the person that would be relied on in making sure that investigations are going proper with the directive that is of choice from the local JAG, Judge Advocate General. Yeah, pretty simple stuff. All right, let's go into public affairs. Primarily, you won't work too much in it, but you will, because generally they have a officer who's in charge of it, but sometimes it comes down onto the yeoman to prepare for certain events. If, you know, someone special were to come down onto the boat, such as a celebrity, they would want to have, you know, a welcome aboard package. They would want to know what is the command about. They would probably want a letter signed by certain people on board. And for the admin aspect of that, you would essentially be the guy. That'd be networking with everyone. All right, perfect. Next one, travel. And you will do a lot of it. You will set up travel for moving families. You will set up travel for emergencies. You'll set up travel for flying people overseas. If they were to, you know, transfer, you would do travel orders for just about anything. And you will do a lot of travel. You have to manage a government travel card program as well. So the travel cards are issued and you have to make sure that you're the person who is responsible and ultimately accountable for people who go on travel. Make sure that their balances get paid off on those cards. All right, let's go to pay. Pay. You will be doing a lot with pay. People will knock on your door constantly. Hey, is my basic allowance for subsistence right? Is my basic allowance for housing correct? Hey, I'm seeing my CPay is not correctly counted on my LES, which is your leave and earning statement, which is your pay stub for the military. And so there'll be a lot of different pay issues in the submarine force. It can get very complicated very quick because, you know, once again, we have a pay system that doesn't work underwater, right? There's no internet. So you have to plan ahead if you're gonna do any pay related matters prior to going out to sea. So you have to be very good at planning, very good at making sure that you're on top of things. You have to make the crew feel comfortable that they can, you know, sleep at night and not worry about a $2,000 indebtedness for something that should have been closed out by you because you submitted the pay documents right. All right, perfect. Next one will be security. So obviously as Yeoman, you have to maintain a security clearance, and part of that for some offices, depending on where you go with submarine, will have different available options for, you know, jobs that put people in the security systems, take them out of security systems, update badge requests if they need a badge, you know, to get to special places. You'd be the point of contact for that. So it's a hit or miss depending on the job scope of that. You have to be in charge of like classifying certain documents, obviously, because certain letters have different types of markings on them, blah, 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 that require to definitely be marked. Perfect. Personnel management. So as Submarine Yeoman, people are your greatest asset and you have to manage them. You have to use different calendars, you have to use different types of tools, you have to look at not only short-term schedule but long-term schedule and make sure that these schedules line up with what you need to do. Like if there's a training that you need to give out to the whole crew, or if you need to like send someone out on another submarine to go work on their qualifications and you need to make sure that their travel orders are correct, then you need to, you know, make sure that they have certain documents with them when they go on board that allow them to get the job done when they're there. And that's managing people. Once again, you'll do a lot of managing people. You'll figure out when you get there. I can't explain all of it because once again, it's hard to explain if like you haven't done it. So we'll move on past that one, and I'm just gonna go really fast through everything else because I want to do that because I want to make sure that the things I explain next are different on every submarine you go to. They're different, right? They're not going to be the same, but they're what I experienced, so that's why I'm going to put it out there. So volunteer. If you want to be competitive in your raid and like get advanced, you know, at a quicker speed, then you do volunteer work, and that goes on top of your yearly performance report. So volunteer work, that's part of something that you need to achieve and strive for. You need to review daily alerts from Big Navy, and the alerts come in forms of messages. They're updating web pages to see what's going on because the job constantly is fluctuating and there's different requirements all the time. So you always have to review alerts. You act as a command photographer during ceremonies. I didn't say that. They have ratings in the surface fleet called MCs, Mass Communication Specialists. Well, we don't have those on submarines, so you're essentially that person who snaps photos a lot. Perfect. You have to support a duty section, so you have duty every 3 to 4 days depending on what type of submarine you're on. And that means that every 3 days you're sleeping on board for 24 hours and you are there to watch the submarine to make sure that it is safe. So you're gonna be there 24 hours doing that. So if you take onto account how many hours you're working a week, plus those duty days that you have, there are some weeks that you may work every single day. Because if you have duty on Saturday, that means you show up Friday, duty Saturday, you're still at work on Sunday to turn over. So that's an example of how you would be at work 7 days a week because of a duty section. Perfect. You have to attend submarine trainers. Like I qualified sonar operator, so I had to go to sonar trainers, and that's during the workday. So you have to plan, how can I like mix trainers and doing admin and, you know, preparing for ceremonies and managing people and getting this done, that done, this done, this done. Perfect. Getting all this done while doing that. Perfect. And then sometimes when you are, like, once again, on those duty sections that I talked about earlier, you have to support other ratings. Like if they're doing a food on loan or they're handling food, they're bringing it onto the boat, you have to help them carry it on. So that may take away time from you doing admin as well. You have to attend meetings all the time. PSD, squadron, NSSC, boat trainings, you have to attend all these meetings because it's mandatory. So you have to take into account doing all that too. You have to complete mandatory schools. There's different schools you can go to as a yeoman. There's command pay and personnel administrator school. There's advanced YN PS school. And there is legal clerk school. There's security manager school. There is obviously the sub school you initially go through, and there's A school that you initially go through. You can go to command fitness leader school. You can go to command career counselor school. Because at one point I did all of these, plus I went to command fitness leader school and I was a command fitness leader, so that's a collateral duty. And you have collateral duties on top of your job to make yourself stand out with the volunteer work, because once again it all goes into your annual performance report, which is crucial for you making the next rank. Perfect. Then you have to work with families' crews a lot. If you're getting deployed, then the family members want to, like, you know, basically have a system where they can contact, you know, their loved ones, and the yeoman generally host the meetings for that prior to deployment and take all the information, pass out all the forms, yada yada yada, and get it going. You have to train the crew. You'll do it on travel. You'll do it on evals because evaluations are crucial. That is the performance report due once a year. You'll have to do different trainings on whatever pops up, really. Sometimes it's hard to do trainings, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it's hard to do trainings. It is really hard to make time to do trainings, but it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Perfect. You need a qualified warfare device. When you check on board, you must get your submarine qualification started right away. You have a maximum of 13 to 15 months depending on what platform you're on and what you're doing on your submarine. And beyond that, you will not be allowed to stay on board. It's crucial. We are the only community where you are 100% required to wear that warfare device from E1 and up, because once again, when you are a submarine yeoman, you are a submariner first. Submarines, think submarines first before doing admin all the time. Perfect. And yes, collateral duties, I talked about that a little bit earlier, where you'll have these different opportunities because once again, we're a submarine and we don't have a rating for every single job we do. So it usually comes in the form of an extra duty that we put on to someone else so that we can be mission ready all year around. All right. Whew. I think that's everything. No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry. There's two last things. Obviously, you have to order your own supplies for the office. So you have to monitor what's going in an office, what's going out of the office, because you have to monitor how many pens you have, how many notebooks you have, how many binders you have, how much paper you have, how many award folders you have. So that can also take up a lot of time too. Oh yeah, and you'll be doing a lot of shredding of paper because you can't just throw paper away in the trash in the military. Because a lot of the paperwork you'll be handling has personal information, so you will 100% be shredding paper. And shredding paper isn't that bad. I mean, it kind of like calms me down when I shred paper sometimes, so that can actually help you out. Let's put it that way. All right. So once again, I'm going to be coming with more videos to run down on this rating because I believe that you guys are the future, and in order to make this rating great and perfect and powerful, it's really dependent on you guys to develop strategies at a very early stage of your career. And I want to help you guys do that because I believe that it's accountability and it's leadership that's supposed to enhance the next future warfighters. All right. Once again, you guys